any viewer goes to in order to see, to get a general overview of the picture that is in front of them. Okay, rule of third. There is something else we mentioned about the rule of third that have a number attached to it also. Did you lock it? Thank you. What else is attached to the rule of third? Yes? They are what? They are? Yes, they are, technically they are, when you separate the screen, when you are using the rule of third, it technically provides you with 9 different rectangles that have the same aspect ratio of a TV screen. So there's a lot you can do with that. And also, when you receive the slides that Mr. Long is going to share with you, you will see there is different part of the screen, what you can put there and what they recommend to put there also. Okay, what else did we cover last week besides these two elements? Rule of third. Yes? What? Sharp? Oh, shot size, yes. What are the most current one that we use? The full shot, what is that? When you see the individual from toes to head, head to toes. And what else? Medium shot. Okay. What else? Medium full shot, which is almost a three-quarter, the cowboy shot, and a medium shot. Those are the three most current that in whatever production you are doing here, those are the three main ones that you will see. Okay, what else did we cover last week? The second part of the presentation, besides size shot and framing. I did a demo with one of the cameras with you. What did we talk about? Yes. Movements, yes. What are the different movements that you can do? Static, there is no movement at all. What else? Tilt. Okay. And what? How do you tilt with a camera? Up and down. What else? Pan. How does pan work? Left to right, right to left. But the camera stay in a stable position. Thank you. Yes, I have it somewhere here. Just transfer the file that I need for today. Okay. Okay. What else did we cover? Push out, yes. And how does that work? What do you need in order to do a push out? Huh? A dolly. What is a dolly? You have one example here, like for instance, this camera on this tripod here. It has wheels at the base, and when you can use it and then slowly move in or push in or pull out of that shot that you have. That creates a lot of effects that you can create with that. If you don't have a dolly, what can you do? In that case, if you do it in camera without the dolly, you are doing a zoom in or zoom out. And to do that, you either use the lens on the camera, or some camera, actually more developed camera, they have what we call a zoom demand, a button that you can press and then it action the lens, and the lens can zoom in and out depending on what you need. Okay, we did quite a bit of stuff so far. Let's get into what we need to cover for today. You didn't receive the slides in advance, but nevertheless, I'm going to go through them with you. Download. Okay, which network should I use? Ottawa SDA Church? Which network, guys? Ottawa SDA Church? Because I didn't get access to. Am I in now? Okay. I'm good now. Do you have USB-C on this? No? No? Okay, that's fine. I have an adapter. Side first. Yeah, I see it. Can you, instead of putting it picture in picture, can you switch it, please? Can you? Do you have the? You have to be upstairs to do it from the switcher. Can you do that for me, please? Because that's more important than what. Let's switch the order. Lifton, hopefully you are hearing me. Because that's too small. I would like to switch the order. Clifton, can we switch? Put this slide on the main frame. Thank you. Okay. Quickly, what we went through last week. Yeah, rule of third. And the different shot size, full shot, medium, full, and medium shot. That was a summary of all three of them. And framing, where we have different shots. And I put explanation on this side for you guys when you receive the slide, just a reminder for you. Camera angle, we talk about it, some of them, not all of them. Okay, this is where I would like to start today. We talk about camera movement, you remember that? Lighting and set. Okay, like here, you have a different, you have a set of lights, like those are two bright lights that kind of brighten the stage here. We call that key lights. Those are the main lights that you are using to bright or to light the person that is here doing whatever they are doing. Now, Clifton, can you bring this set of light here? Can you turn them on? Just this. Or are all of those controlled by the same? Where is it done? So you don't? Yes. Okay, so that's fine. Okay. In that case, I'm going to use my light instead to show you what I'm going to demonstrate when it comes to light. Because at a certain point, I'm going to to shut all the lights here. And then we're going to go through a close example of what you need to know about light. Okay, one thing that is important to know about light, actually, one thing is, for instance, all those bulbs here shining this area of the stage, we call that incident light. Incident means you have a harsh impact from the light source. It comes to you directly. And I'm going to demonstrate that the difference between an incident light to power source here. Yeah, okay. Let me pull it up. Okay, we might as well turn those lights in the sanctuary off because this is going to, overall, one light like this replace at least two of the one that you are using here. Yes, you can turn off these one now. Even those two, Clifton, you can turn them off. Okay. Now, you can turn them off now. There is one more set that is on.
Oh, now I can see. Oh. I'm not sure which one.
What about this? Okay, that's down. What about this? Turn this one off. Yes. No.
Off?
Yeah, it's off now. Okay, I'll leave because those two here. Fine.
I'm not sure. I
Low
think they're
spots.
here in the panel, but I'm not sure.
None of these. What about this east one? No, I don't need this.
Off? Anything off?
Okay, that's fine. I can deal with that as it is now. Yes, if possible, because I wanted. Okay, thank you. Now, this is usually when you are setting up light to produce a video, it's better that you use light that you can control. For instance, those lights that were on here, yes, they are bright, they brighten the space here, but I have not done any analysis to see the impact of those lights, but that's why I bought those lights in order to show you the impact of when you are using light, what to pay attention to. For instance, it's kind of dark here, although yes, we are having some outside light coming through the windows. But if I were to produce something here, first of all, this type of light, although it's an incident light, the light is very harsh, it's very bright. But we have what we call diffusers, like those devices that we put in front of the light. For instance, you see the shadow here of my hand on the wall? It's very hard. We call that a hard shadow. And when you have incident light like this, shining your Starlink or whatever you are doing, either you control the distance that the light has to be versus the individual, and also those shadows in a production, sometimes they are not the most flattering. In order to reduce that impact, what we do, look at the shadow again. You see, the shadow is very well defined when it's the incident light by itself. However, if I use a diffuser like this, first of all, I can control the direction of the light. Okay? I put the light where I need it. And secondly, do you see the shadow of my hand on the wall? You don't see it anymore. Okay, there are those diffusers that you use on the light. And also there are some types of bulb that they sell that does not produce a hard, harsh light. And then it comes like in a certain way, it's already diffused. For instance, all the light that I see over here, all those are incident light. They are very harsh. They create a lot of shadow. Sometimes I watch what you produce here. During the service, you can see shadow of individual, of hands, or on the organ, on the back wall, or even yesterday when Pastor was doing the announcement here, I think this was more on the side, you can see all the shadows being, like now, although you see the shadow in the back, but the shadow is not hard, and you can barely see it. And also, I'm using only one light. Okay, that brings me to the presentation for today. There are three ways you can set up light. This is a key light because it's lighting right in front of me. It can be either in front of me like this or on this side. Just to light one of my side. And this is what we call a key light because that's the main light that I am using. On the other hand, what I can do, when I have a key light like this coming, it creates a shadow, although this one I attenuate the shadow with the diffuser. But what we can do, if you look at me, you will see this side of my face is brighter than this side, right? What we do sometimes, we bring a second set of light we call a feeler light. It might be the same as this or something different. And then from the feeler light now, I can eliminate the shadow here. But in order to produce a picture that is attractive to the eye, specifically in the movie industry, what they do, there is a ratio of how much of light should be coming from the key and how much of light should be coming from the field light. They always want to create a differentiation between those two lights so that it doesn't brighten both sides of your face at the same time, with the same intensity. Okay, that's one thing we need to pay attention to, and that's why we use a key light and a feeler light. That's the second type of light. The third type of light is, for instance, I'm standing here, and behind me, there is no light at all, no source of light, except for a reflection of what is being projected on the screen here that you see coming behind me here. But what we usually do, we use what we call a kicker light or a hair light or a backlight. What it does, it creates a 3D dimension of the talent of who is standing here doing anything, because you have a light coming from the key, a light coming from the field, and a light coming from the back, usually above your head, that you don't see the source of it. And then this puts you in a tri-dimension when you are looking at that picture. So 3 items you need to know right away, and that I want to share with you is key light, feeler light, and kicker or backlight, or hair light. Some call it even hair light. And the reason why we do that is because it creates a better feeling, a better environment of where the person is standing, what they are doing, and also give you an image that is more, create a kind of space between the subject and the background. If not, when you put somebody right against a wall like this without this differentiation of what, you don't have enough definition of the contour of the individual. And actually, recently in the movie industry, when they are setting light, sometimes they even create more light from the back than from the front. How are you going to see that when you are watching a movie or watching the news or watching whatever production that is being done professionally? You will see like a lot of brightness coming on this side of the individual, especially on the shoulder here. You will see a lot of brightness here that will tell you that there is a light somewhere. For instance, to switch to this, Clifton, do you have control to the switcher upstairs now, or do you have to be upstairs? You can do it from here? Okay, let me bring up a video and I'll show you the effect of air light. No, I'm going on the website and bring up a video and show you the effect of the backlight, okay? Sorry? No, I am. No, I'm going on another website. Okay. For instance, here is a video that I produced, and I know for sure I can show you the effect of the backlight. Okay, let me let it play. Okay, look at his forehead. Oh, it's not on the screen as yet, sorry. Oh, I probably should transfer this over. Which one to choose here? Okay, I have something on, what is that again? On the browser, yes, on the website. Left or right? I don't necessarily need the audio for now. Okay, I can even use it the way it is on a static shot like this. You see that light that is shining on his forehead like this, on this side here? This is coming from two lights that is right behind him, but all the way up like this from just almost at the same height as the screen here. That's what we call a kicker light, like the backlight, okay? And the reason why they do that, unfortunately, he's wearing a dark pullover on his shirt. You cannot see the effect, but if you were to look at this picture, at this video closer, you would see even the light is shining on the back of his. What that does, it helps you as a viewer to separate him from the background, which is for now a set of light that is sitting behind him that gives you that blue color in the background. And why blue? There has been some research being done to say that when you, because of the color of our skin, and when you look at the color wheel, because this I will explain later on when I show you the details of the software that I use. Two colors that are in opposite direction of the color wheel give you a better contrast. Therefore, our skin on the color wheel is between yellow and red. Our skin is here, whereas the opposite side of where our skin is on the color wheel is almost between cyan and blue. Therefore, watch any professional TV like CNN, NBC, MSNBC, ABC, whatever, or even CBC here or CTV. Usually what they do, yes. BBC, yeah, British Broadcasting Corporation. If you watch any of those, especially when they are doing the news, you will see a lot of blue background. or a variant of blue or gray. The reason for that, because they find that this is the best background to put behind a human being because of the color of our skin, because it creates what they call complementary light, complementary color. Okay, so I just used this to show you a source of light coming from the back of his head that is even shining in front of his, almost in front of his face, or right here on top of his forehead. Okay, let's wrap up with light. There are three sources of light that you can use when you are producing a video. What are they? The key light, the kicker light, and the feeler. Kicker and feeler are identical, okay? The feeler light. Okay, now, let's go back to the presentation for today. Where did I stop? Okay, part 2. I was here. Okay, Clifton, can you switch me to the PowerPoint presentation? Am I there? Yes. Okay. I need this one now. Do I have to bring it over again, or? Okay, or let me just bring it back and go here. Do you hear the rice? Okay, now what I need to show is this one here now. Should I and bring it over? This one here. Yeah, I have two open though. I need to close one of them. Close this. Okay, I have two. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay, we talk about the three different set of light. That's already done. Let's move to the next step. Okay. 3-point lighting. Okay, the set of a background. As much as possible, let's try to keep the set. What we call the set is everything that is in the background here that provide information or items in the frame that sometimes can add to the story that you are telling. But if we were to do a story here from this stage and for a specific purpose, it's not a church service. Yes, I would not move the piano and the organ, but everything else, if possible, I would remove them for two different reasons. Number one, you don't want anything in the frame that will create a distraction to somebody. Number one. And number two, as much as possible, when you are shooting, there is what we call, we need to create a 3D effect. That means create a lot of depth for the subject that you are shooting. For instance, if I were to shoot an interview here on this stage, you know what I would do? I would put the individual to face this way and put the cameras behind here and then create that depth that I need in that area here. Because everybody would, the two individuals would be sitting here talking, and then you would have a space behind them in order to create a lot of depth in the picture that you are looking at, in the video that you are looking at. Unfortunately here, this is already built, and that's the way it is built. You use it the way it is, but there is not enough depth on the stage here to create that separation of the individual and the back of the sanctuary, of the podium here. If it is something that you can control, make sure when you are shooting a video, you create space behind the individual, because that creates that depth of the environment in which they are. And also, it creates less distraction, because once the person sees what is behind, the viewer, once they see what is behind, there is nothing that catches their attention, then they will focus on your face instead. Whereas, if I'm standing here, and I am watching a video that is shot here, besides the fact that I start with the individual, now my eyes start looking. And even those things on the wall, the individual can start reading them, can start reading what is there, and seeing small prints here. They are trying to, while you are telling a story, what do you think is going to happen to that individual? The attention span is going to be wandering around everything that is in the scene, as opposed to focus on the story you are telling them. That's why it's always good to think about creating enough depth in what you are doing, so that those depth that is behind the individual is not distracting, but create better a focus on the individual telling the story that they are telling. Yes? Sure. I will continue with my presentation. Okay, so what do I have on the screen now is the set or background, is the location where the event is taking place or the story is being told. Set and decor should not attract attention to itself. The simpler, the better. And also the set should not compete with the talent or subject that is telling the story. There is another way we can do that, is with this, remember last week I used my lens and I had put it on the screen and I kind of blur the faces or blur the background, focus more on the face. It depends on the type of lens you are using. That is another way you can create a separation between the subject or the talent and the background. For instance, today I will try to show you that physically how it can be accomplished on the camera. Okay, let's move forward. Okay, last week we talked about those already, and we are just going to do a review now. We talked about 3 components when you are doing the exposure. First of all, what is the exposure? Anybody remember? What is the exposure? For instance, if you look at this room here, it's very dark, not very, but it's kind of dark inside here because there is no light at all. Whereas if you turn on the light, it will be easier for all of us to see the environment in which we are. So all this can be accomplished in the camera, inside the camera. And, I have it on the light, on the screen. How light is reflected to the camera sensor. And usually, it depends on the type of story you are shooting. It depends on the type of movie. It can be a scary movie where you have a lot of dark shadow, a lot of dark part, and then brightness in some area of it. But usually, when you are telling a story, you need to balance between the dark portion and the bright portion of the scene that you are shooting. So that's what we call exposure. How can you attain that? How can you accomplish that? Is within the camera, there are 3 items we spoke about last week. You remember what they were? Aperture, shutter speed, and ISO. Aperture is similar to your eye, the pupil of your eye, that can adapt to the environment in which you are. It can either contract when you are in an area that is too bright, or it expands when you are in an area that is dark. You can do that, all of this, within the camera. Shutter speed is when you blink, for instance, this is the same effect that you can create also within the camera. You can have it blink at a very fast speed. For instance, take the astronaut on the ISS now. When they are shooting from the ISS up there and they are shooting toward the Earth, and sometimes they give you a close-up of what is happening on Earth. Not only the zoom allow them to do that, but also seeing that the ISS is traveling at such a fast speed, the shutter speed on the camera allow them to immobilize the shot they need to take from the planet Earth. And the faster the shutter speed, the faster you can immobilize whatever is happening in the environment that you are shooting. Okay? Whereas the lower the aperture, for instance, 1 second or 2 or 3 or 5 seconds is a long time for a camera sensor to stay open to capture the light. Okay? And usually you use that in a setting where you want to create a lot of blurriness. It's to show movement in what is happening in the scene. Okay? But that's why we can use shutter speed for that. And the last element that we talked about was ISO. Or the other word we use for that is the gain. You increase the gain on your camera. In a setting like this, for instance, the gain will compensate to make it a little brighter, but at the same time, it can create artifacts in your picture or in your video, in your image. So those are the 3 items we spoke about last week in terms of exposure. And I'm going to demonstrate all this to you today. Okay, the other thing that we need to pay attention to is what we call the white balance. You are telling the camera, okay, this image is white. This is what you are using as a reference. There are several gadgets they use to do that, but most of the cameras, they also have an automatic button that gives you an automatic white balance. However, if you are in an environment that you cannot control the source of light, I would highly suggest that you stay away from it. For instance, here we have windows that are open without blinds on them. Today is more overcast. You don't see the harsh light coming through. But when it's sunny outside, you have more light coming in, and those window panels, they have some kind of tint on them. They are not neutral. Some of them are yellowish and more yellow than others. That can affect the white balance. Anything that is white you put here, if these lights were coming from the windows would be a little brighter than this one that we are using here, you will see the difference in the white balance, and the variation in the color would be very noticeable. So as much as possible, try to do a manual white balance, and I'll show you different ways you can do that, and different cameras does it differently, but the concept is the same. Yes? Okay, one thing we also mentioned last week, and I showed it to you when I plugged my camera and I was zooming on 2 girls that were sitting here. That's what we call the front focus. What it does, it gives you a sharp image of the individual you are looking at. And that also, depending on the lens you are using, that can also bring more attention to where you want the viewer of that video or that production that you are doing. You want to bring their attention to a specific part of that frame that you are showing them. And in order to do that, sometimes some cameras, more advanced camera, they allow you to not only focus on the individual, you see the individual clearly, but the background get into the focus. It's like the focus is not on the background at all. So I'll try to demonstrate that to you later on when I plug my camera. 6 more slides to go before we get into the real juice of what we need to do today. Okay, now we are going to, all what we have covered so far, those are knowledge that you need to have in order to set up what you need to do in order to shoot a video. Now we are looking at another aspect of it. After you shot the video, now you need to get whatever video clip that you had, you have to bring it into a software, and this is a stage that we call editing the video. You capture the raw event from on your camera from the scene, however you had set it up before. You set up your camera and you get the ideal setting of what you need to shoot, and now it's time to start putting the story together. Remember the story, visual, the video, and then the audio. You are bringing all those items together. There is one thing that I have not spent too much time on, but you may realize what it is. For instance, now I'm wearing a microphone, right? It's barely visible, although yes, you can see it in me, on my shirt, on my collar here. But I'm transmitting from this device, I'm transmitting the sound to the audio booth back there, and today, for instance, we are recording that. I can use that audio and blend it with the video, a video that can be captured for any camera that is in the sanctuary, and use only that audio that is coming in through the mic, and blend it with whatever image is being captured here. This is one thing we do quite often because it's always good to capture video through different sources. For instance, those cameras, they capture audio. They capture audio, however, the audio is not ideal because the audio is more, there is a technical term for that, diegetic. That means it captures not only my voice here, but all the sounds that is bouncing back from the wall. It captures everything. So that makes it not clean enough to produce a real video. Therefore, you always have to sync that audio coming from the camera with the audio that you record, because that audio from what is coming through the mic is cleaner than what is coming here. And even if it is clean enough, but you still need to process that audio. You can edit that audio by itself and remove as much as possible the back noise that is coming through, number one. And number two, you can use EQ to get a better sound, like low end or high end of my voice. You can do all this in post-production. And that's what we call editing. You edit the video. While you are editing the video, editing the audio is part of the process, because that audio comes cleaner for the viewers to have a better enjoyment. And that's what I say, there are 3 essential elements in video production. Not only the story, the image that people are looking at, but the audio is very, very important also. Even to a certain degree, some people say audio is more important than the video. Some people say video is more important than audio. But nevertheless, it seems like overall people are more forgiving if they see a bad picture as opposed to hear a bad sound. So it's important that we also take care of that, okay, when we are doing a production. Now, yes, when we have those 2 elements coming, the audio and the video, based on the story, now you are going to organize the clips. There's something that I think it's coming here also, yes, in 3. You're going to organize all those elements together. There is also what we call B-roll, point number 3 here. Besides the fact that when you are editing, when you are putting the story together, you need to use transition, and depending on the type of story you are using, some transition can be fancy, some can be cheesy, but it depends on what you are doing. You need to also analyze, okay, who am I doing this video for? If it is for a teenager, yes, I would use what we call transition. Transition is, for instance, if this camera that is on my side here, capturing here, and then I'm going to move to another camera showing this, I can either do a jump cut. It's like a hard cut from this camera to this camera without any second of delay. You see this, and then you see that right away. Or people can use what they call, the most common one that people use in the industry is what we call a crossfade. It's like you are moving from this camera to that camera, so it's like this camera is going down in intensity, whereas the other one is coming up in intensity, and then all of a sudden you are looking at this camera, what we call a crossfade. That's the most current one. Which one do you use here? The same one, crossfade? Now, what's the speed? Because you can control the speed of the... Yeah, okay. Can you control the speed at which you transition? How many? No, that you don't have to do it, but just to mention that you see that transition between the two camera angles, you can control the speed at which you do it. At Nepean, we usually keep it for 5 seconds or under 5 seconds. No, actually 0.05 seconds. By default, the software we use is 20 seconds, I believe it is. So we reduce it to 0.5. The reason for that is each transition that you do has a significance. For instance, if I'm doing a music video for somebody singing here, yes, I can do a long transition like this, depending on the style of piece that is being played. And sometimes we can even increase the length of it. But when it comes to the regular church service, like, a sermon, for instance, when we do the transition, we try to do it as short as possible, not to create too much distraction. Because think about it, the preacher is preaching, we are thinking about the viewers. What does the viewer needs to see? If it is something that is distracting, we try to stay away from it. We prefer to let the viewer immerse into what is being, what they are viewing, as if they were sitting here looking at the pastor literally speaking or preaching, okay? So those are things that you can do in editing. When you are editing, you can do that. And also, I'll give you some of the steps that I do when I'm editing video, just to give you a general idea. Now, after you have done this, you put the story together. There is something that we call color correction. For instance, all those 3 cameras are identical, right? They are the same brand and the same setting. You will not likely get a variation in the color if, and I say if you do a manual white balance from here. Because when you do a manual white balance, we usually use a white card from here, and then all the cameras are seeing the same item, where they are positioned and where the white card is. When you do it that way, when you do a manual white balance like this, it helps you to get the colors closer to each other. And usually you will not see too much difference of color between the shots coming from all 3 cameras. And specifically when they are all different, the same brand of camera. At Nepean, we use at least 3 different types of cameras. But we manage in a way to bring all those colors together when we know exactly how each camera operates, and then we do a white balance based also on the type of color of the light. Unfortunately, I cannot go too much in details about the lights with you, but like this light is emitting about 5,600 Kelvin. That's the unit that measures the brightness of the light, or the brightness of the light. This is like a daylight that you have here, like outside. Okay, yeah, we do that at Nepean on a regular basis. Every now and then we check the white balance to make sure that we have the same rendering of the color that the camera is seeing, because we don't have all the cameras that we are using are not identical. There are 2 of them that are the same. The third one is a different brand, and sometimes I bring my own for special events. This is identical to the second one, but we've done that so many times that we know what to compose on each camera in order to get the best color from the camera when we are doing it. However, you can also correct all this in post when you are doing the montage, when you are putting everything together after you have shot the video. Yes, question? Yes, it depends on where you are during the day and where the sun is during the day. But on average, 5,600 Kelvin, that's the unit reference, is what you usually see between 10 and 12 and 10 and 2, depending on where you are on the planet, okay? Because sometimes the light, and also the season of the year, sometimes the light comes to you very harsh, and usually photographs don't go out between 10 and 4 to shoot pictures because the light is too bright and too harsh, and also the position of the light is so close to you that it creates hard shadow. Whereas morning and evening is the best time to shoot outside, unless if you take benefit of outside light, but you cover this. Usually you see a tent. Sometimes they, when they are shooting movie, they cover they use the ambient light, but they cover the direct rays from the sun in order to attenuate. The same way I put that diffuser here, they use a tent as possible to cover the effect of the harsh shadow or harsh light coming from the sun. Yes? Yeah.
And someone was saying you should upgrade your light, and I wasn't sure exactly in terms of measurements.
If it depends on you. Some people prefer the daylight inside. Some people prefer a light within the 3700 Kelvin. That is more on the yellow side. It gives them the effect of sunset, okay? And also the old incandescent light that we used to have, the old bulbs that we used to have. Some people are more comfortable with that. Some people find that the daylight, LED daylight, give them a feeling of like they want to fall asleep. Whereas some people want it a little warmer than cooler. That's the terms that we use. For instance, this is a cool light because it's daylight. Unfortunately, I can show you another device I have here that has different light setting on them, and you can see the difference. Okay. You want to take a break or? No, not yet?
Take a break now?
No, it's up to you because I saw you moving. I thought. Okay. Okay. In about 4 or 5 minutes or so, okay? And I was talking about post-production, and we reach a point where we are comparing the quality of the image that we have from the different cameras that we are using in terms of color. We do what we call a color correction, and that we also do what we call a color grading. That means, okay, this is the mood I would like to give on that production that I'm doing. Instead of the normal color that people usually see with their own eyes, you can make it either cool, like on the blue side, or either warm on the more yellowish side. So this is another style that you decide by yourself, depending on the story, which color grading you are going to use in order to convey the message or the story that you are telling. Last but not least, when you finish with that, you produce what we call a rough cut, which is just a first video clip of all the story that you are going to tell and say, okay, let's analyze it. Did we accomplish what we wanted to do? And from there, you do your analysis and decide, okay, this is where we're going back to correct. And I mentioned transition. There is also what we call a special effect, or even B-roll. B-roll is, for instance, when I'm telling a story and I'm talking about something, and all of a sudden you see what I'm talking about coming on the screen. Instead of seeing me, you see what I am talking about. That's what we call an insert or a B-roll, okay? For instance, if you guys are doing a story, a children's story, and during the children's story, somebody is using a slide to illustrate what they are talking about, that could be a B-roll that they are using, or an insert they are using here. Okay. And yeah, all those what I was talking about, those slides will explain them to you more in detail. Okay, now last part in terms of technical theory. After you have done all your correction to the production you are doing, now it's time to produce it and share it with others. Because what's the point of shooting a video without you sharing it with others? So that's why when you reach that phase, after you've done your rough cut and your final cut, now it's time for you to produce what we call a master file. Usually it's something that you produce for yourself, the highest quality as possible. It takes a lot of space on your computer, but it's important to have one good copy for yourself. And then you produce what we call, for distribution, you produce, for instance, if you are posting on YouTube, usually the format they require is, on average, an HD 1080p, technical term. Or a 4K. You can upload up to 4K to YouTube and then it takes it. Vimeo, same thing. Or Instagram, there are some size that you need for it. It's not necessarily 1080, it's less than that. Yes? Sure. And different, for instance, Facebook is a different format. So that's what you have to think at this stage, yes? Sure. That's what you have to think of when you reach that point, is to consider, okay, where am I going to post? Sometimes, yes, some platforms accept whatever you send them, but they do what we call, they compress the file. You may put a good file that you know was a high quality, but when it reaches WhatsApp, for instance, WhatsApp reduces the file by 95% of the quality that you have produced it. So be aware of that. And you can even, within your software, produce one that is specific for WhatsApp so that it can at least keep some of the best quality, although the size will be reduced or the quality will be reduced, but it will keep it. As opposed to you send a 1080p file to WhatsApp and then WhatsApp decide by itself, okay, this is how I'm going to reduce it. Okay? I've experimented with many of those platforms, and I can tell you by experience, yes, you need to be careful when you are sending, and that's why you produce a high-quality file, and it's better in the software that you are using, you say, produce one for that platform specific, and the software will do that for you, as opposed to you send one to WhatsApp, and then the encoder behind WhatsApp does its thing, and then all of a sudden you find yourself with a pixelated, not very clear image on WhatsApp. Okay. No, I went back. I need to move forward. Yeah, distribution and yeah, okay. Something that they use in the industry. Usually, they say a movie is never finished. The production team either run out of budget or money, or they run out of time. So that means there is always room for improvement in whatever you are doing. But what is important is for you to do your best and produce the best that you can within the time and the budget that you have. Okay, in terms of theory, that's all what I wanted to cover with you. It's a good time now to take a break. Last week we asked, would somebody be willing to tell a story or a short interview between you so that we can shoot something very short, and then is there a way that I can use it? I see you have TV screen in the HDMI output. HDMI output to a TV. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Because when I'm doing that phase, I need them to be closer to see what I'm doing on the software. Yeah. Okay, I think it's a good time for us to take a short break.
Okay, so you're going to meet me upstairs?
And then I will be setting up for, and then from there we'll go directly to the cameras and do some of the setting ourselves. What's your feet, please? Du jus, s'il te plaît. Merci. There is one chair here. No, I don't need any light at all. Because what I'm going to, yeah, it will.
Oh yeah, sometimes I spoke to you about
13? Yeah, I think we can do it. 13. May 1-3. May 1-3 in about 2 weeks. Can I have another chair like this, please? No, I don't need the laptop anymore. Thank you. Just remove my drive. Actually, you can. Yeah. I don't. Yeah. No, that's okay. Thank you. Actually, Mr. Lange has a copy of my files, the presentation. You can, if you need them. Although they are very general, it's like there's so much details to cover, but at least
Sure.
if somebody wants to go further,
Yeah.
you can take each item and develop them for yourself.
Yeah, so the lighting here, I'll have to look into that. It's not very, they're all mixed, I guess, mixed color temperature.
And also, they are all incident lights. They could be a bit.
Yeah, it wasn't designed like for.
Yeah, I know,
Let
but
us put a light up.
you have a big advantage here that we don't have at Nepean,
Yeah.
because we have finished ceiling,
Oh, okay.
whereas here there's a lot you can do.
We can put a little
For instance,
bar
you see
across.
the kicker light I was talking about. You see where those two anchors are
Yeah.
for the screen?
Yeah.
You can just put two bulbs here to create a 3D effect for the individual here, as opposed to those coming directly on their head.
So
And that's the main issue we have with Nepean when we started. All the light were right on top of the individual. So what we do is we have two projectors coming down. We put a bar across and we put a direct light that gives us a 45 degree that goes to the individual.
So we could do that here too.
You
Put
can,
a bar here.
although those two lights are good that you have here, however, you may need a diffuser on them. It's good that you get those two lights are really key. However, I find it's a bit harsh, and you cannot control the intensity coming out of it. So the best way is to get what they call, not BOGO. BOGO is more an effect.
You mean the
Okay, research that light and see how you can find a diffuser for them.
okay.
Yeah, because even if it is a slight diffuser, because it creates too much hard shadow, as I say, when I go on your website and I watch, it's like a lot of harsh shadow. That's kind of distracting for a viewer that knows what the industry is about, you know. Everybody else will accept it and, oh, that's better than what you used to do before, but yes,
Definitely.
yeah. And also light. It's not so much the amount of light that you generate
Same,
that make a difference. Like this one here, yes, I would use this one quite often because of the pianist sitting there. And you just need to orient it properly. And same thing here. Merci beaucoup. Yeah, and okay, so that should be good for me. Oui, je pense que je vais venir pour ça. Oui. Pas moi, lui, probablement. Oui, mais c'est plus personnel. Oui, je pourrais enregistrer ça. Je vais y réfléchir parce que ça me prendrait au moins 2 caméras. J'en ai 2, je peux les emmener. Ok, je vais y penser. Oh, really? Good. Hello, how are you? Good. Downstairs. Break time, snack time. I already have some juice. Thank you. Good.
Okay, so you have everything set up now and ready for the Kirby?
Almost, almost.
Okay.
Okay, is everybody back? Okay, guys, I will need you come here and I'll show you what I'm doing in terms of setting. And the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. Come here, all of you, I want you to sit on this side here. When we are lighting a scene, let's say somebody is going to sit here in an interview setting, for instance. They were going to be sitting right here, close to each other. Okay, you can sit. Sit. I need to have a source of light come into that individual sitting here at a 45-degree angle projecting to that face. Okay? I need to have a 45-degree angle coming to that individual in that direction. Okay? For instance, you see that, that light here, I can adjust it. This more likely is about, what? 90 degrees from 0 to 90 here. Whereas if I need to light him up, I need to bring this a little down, like at a 45-degree angle, going to shed the light on him. Okay, I lock it up here. Turn off your eyes, please, or I can turn down the intensity. Turn off your light, or your eyes also, because the light is coming and it's very bright. Okay? Like here, this light, I can control the intensity of the light. It's kind of too close to him. Okay? And that's one way I can light him in order to get what I need from a camera. And also, I will have a camera that is positioned right here to face him to get what I need for the profile that I need from him. Okay, I just wanted to show you the light. You can also see that the light, this light, is kind of all around him there is light. And that's where I would like to bring your attention now on this one that has a different device on it as opposed to this one. Okay, can you sit here, please, seeing that you are close? This light is going to be for her. You see how the light crosses? One going in the opposite direction of the individual sitting here. Although I can see her in my, stay right here. Look at her right side of her face. You see how it's kind of shadowy on that side? Whereas the light here is picking up on, it's brightening her left side. But I can have a light dedicated specifically to her. Let me try. Okay, I have the bound. Is it plugged? Could you plug it for me, please? In one of the yellow. Can you plug the light for me, please? Plug it here in that source here. Okay, here I have what we call a bound door that can orient the light where I need it. For instance, you see I am changing the light on her face. And also, you see, I can open the side, how the light is oriented on each side of her. If I were to do an interview with somebody, like, I don't need too much of the light going around that individual. I need something like that. I just use the bound door to orient the light in a way that I can control it myself, as opposed to this reflector here that brighten everything around the individual. So you can see the difference between the two lights. And when I use this bound door here, it already prepares some of the things that I'm going to do in post. Whereas this one, when I use this, it's when you are trying to light somebody. For instance, if I were to use this, I would use it more for the backlight, the kicker light, to create an effect behind their heads, as opposed to using this in front of somebody, okay? Anyway, it depends on what you are shooting also. But as you can see here, I still keep my light at a 45-degree angle, going down. Okay, if I bring it up, You can see the light varying, going either like now, her head is not lit quite as much as is her front, okay? So what I need to do is bring the light at a level where I focus on the face, okay? For instance, an angle like this would be ideal. Can lock it up now. Okay, so that's for light. Do you have any question? No? Okay, something else I can show you. When you are setting up, besides the two key lights that you are using, you can also use, where is it? This bag here. Question? Yes? I'll show you later. This is a tripod for the camera. I sometimes use a light like this on a different tripod to create any kind of effect that I need to create behind the individual. And sometimes some people even use those type of lights to use as a filler light for the individual on their side. But this time you need to use what we call a C-stand that brings the light toward the person here. Or I can even use it as a hair light or the kicker light on a C-stand that is outside of the frame, and then it projects on the back of the individual. Like this one, like those lights are the same color temperature, you cannot change them, whereas this one I can change the color. So if I want it to be bright, white, I can change the color here. And the saturation and a lot of stuff that I can change from those small lights. And sometimes we use them just to create an ambience around the individual behind. Or, for instance, you can see on her shoulder here, on the right shoulder, you can see the effect of the light. Or if I move it towards this side here, you will not see it too much on that screen here. Or if I come here, you are using this camera. Can you move back, please? Thank you. Like here, you see the effect of the light on his shoulder now. But for him, look toward here, his head will be looking at the camera here or looking at the individual you are talking to. So I can have a light here. Although this camera is showing us behind him, but when I put the camera here, I will show you again the effect of the light can have on when you are using a backlight, a kicker light, or a feeder light, okay? But for now, we start with this light here. Alternatively, what I can do, I didn't bring this one because I have a bound door light like this that I could have used also to reduce the effect of the light. But I just wanted to show you the impact you can have with the light and how you can control the lights. Yes, question?
Why is this light yellow? Just like this white?
As I say, you see those components here? I can change the color however I want. Okay? Sorry? No, I'm going to put my own cameras because I'm going to show them how you can frame two individuals on two cameras. Okay, any other question on light? No? Okay. Now, somebody asked about the tripod here. Camera now. Okay, let me use the zoom first. Tripod is here. Where did I put it? use tripod over here now? Do you use tripod over here now? Just this one? Okay, when you have a tripod, there is a component that you attach at the bottom of your camera. They call it different names, shoe plate, cold plate, hard plate, whatever. But you screw it because every camera has a thread like this at the bottom of it, just for that purpose, to attach the camera to the tripod. Can you bring the tripod for me, please? Okay. So I attach this to it, and there's a mechanism here where you slide the camera in, the plate in. Actually, let me do it this way instead. Okay, for instance, I'm going to shoot those two guys here. First of all, I need it to be almost at eye level of the individual I'm shooting, okay? Or what I can also do, I can extend it a little longer so that the shot will be like coming a little above the eye level, depending on what you are shooting and what mood you want to create with the video. Okay, in a setting like this, I would put my camera put the battery in the camera first. Okay, Clifton, can you come please? Let's see if the HDMI will reach the camera from here. The HDMI to the monitor. Yes, because that will be closer for them to look at, as opposed to looking back up here. Is the HDMI long enough for the one going here? Because it will be better to see the. Okay, let's see. Okay. No, I'm fine, thanks. Now, can you switch to me? Okay, switch to HDMI and send it.
Yeah, the audio is going through the HDMI.
Oh, okay, from my camera.
There you go. Wake up.
Okay, here's our first talent on the screen. Here's the way I would frame somebody. Okay, let me ask you some question now. Do I need to do any adjustment to what I have on the screen now? And what would you suggest as adjustment? Anybody? Yes?
That you change the background.
Okay, what about the background?
Move the chairs or something.
Okay, move the chair or move the camera, right? Okay, can you stand up, please? So what you are saying is you would rather see less distraction in the background, right? What's your name?
Ariel.
Are you Raphael's sister?
Yes.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, that's a good point. Alternatively, what I can do, seeing that I'm using a zoom lens, you see what I'm doing here? I am reducing what I am seeing in the background. Okay, now you can sit. You can sit again, please. Okay. Now you don't see him clearly, but I can adjust that with my lens. Okay. One of the things I would like to bring your attention to is what you see on the screen besides the picture that you are looking at. For instance, at the bottom here, you see 22. This is the value that is on the camera telling me what is the composition, the aperture on the shot that I'm using now on the camera. So if I need to adjust it on the camera itself, I can adjust, no, not this one. I can adjust the aperture. You see it changing now, right? Now it's at 3.7. What is the second element in the exposure that we usually adjust? Besides the aperture? ISO. Okay. I can bring the ISO. You see in the center here, it gives me a lot of numbers. Yes, I can adjust the ISO. Let's say I would like to start as low as 100. Okay. The other item I can adjust is what? For exposure purposes. What? Shutter speed. The 125 you see here, that's what it's telling me what the shutter speed is. I can turn it up or down. However, I should tell you that the projector is adjusting the picture, the exposure of the picture for me. But nevertheless, I have a shot of him. And also, you see that grid that you see in the center here?
Yes.
-3 and 0. I can adjust it to make it 0 or whatever I need it to be, but it all depends on what type of picture I want to compose on my camera. Okay. There is another thing I talk about today is the white balance. Like now it's on automatic white balance. That's fine. However, I can adjust the white balance however I want. For instance, here, if I were in the sun, I would have chosen this one. If I was outside in the shade, I could have used this one. Or in the besides the building, I can use this one. Or now I am inside with light, I could use this one. You see how the change is drastic from a warm background, which is not with the exact reading of the wall that we have here. And now it's changed, and it's closer to the color of the background that you see, of the wall that you see here. However, I also mentioned that I can choose to adjust the light based on the, sorry, I removed it too early. I was at white balance. Okay, you see that K here? It's telling me that I'm using the scale that we call the Kelvin scale in order to do the white balance. Okay, this camera, there is different way you can do it. You see it on the left side here. For instance, this light, I know the temperature of the light is 5,600 K. I can go directly and adjust it here. Where is it now? On the right side top. I can adjust it here. And as I adjust it, you can see the difference in the picture. The color of the background of the picture is changing progressively. Okay. It's different for every camera that you use, but the concept is the same. The concept is the same, provided that you know what to do on one camera that you are accustomed to. It will just adjust, you will have to adjust based on the type of camera that you are using. Okay, any question for me? No. Okay, there is another setting I can show you here, for instance, on this camera. Do we have a piece of paper or a white? Okay, can you take that box for me, please, the white box? And I'm going to show you a kind of a different way of doing it. Can you hold the box for me, please? Yes. Because what I'm trying to do is to get the white from the box to do the white balance. See that portion here? Okay, I'm going to tell the camera sensor this is white in the condition of the light that I'm using here. And on this camera, for instance, what I can do is white balance again. Okay, I'm choosing select white balance. You see that square, that rectangle in the center? I want it to fill an area that is white. Although it's not filled completely, but I'll do it based on this. And I press that setting, and it says the scene is too dark. It cannot process it. Okay. What I can do from that point, I can either increase the intensity of the light, which I can do here. Oops. Usually I have this on my phone, and I control it remotely. Let me try again. Set, unable to process again. Although we see it, but the reason why we see picture on the projector is because whatever I'm sending to the projector convert it to make it visible to the screen, on the screen here. Whereas for the camera is telling me, no, it's too dark, it cannot see. Okay, I'm going to remove from there because I want to show you exactly how it's done. Yes, I know why, because this is a bit too high. It can't even be here. You see those values between the 3 and 0 are changing here. Anytime you are close to the 3, it's because the picture is too dark. Now it's moving closer to 0, and now it's right on 0. Yes, I'm going to try to do the white balance with that white again. Select white balance. completed. Okay? Now, you can put the box down, please. Put it down on your side here. Okay, now what are we seeing? We see a picture that is more closer to the color that we are seeing, that we should be seeing here. Okay? And what else can I show you? For instance, you see a lot of the windows now in the shot. And as you said earlier, I could also move him in order to get less of the windows coming in, because those windows are creating a lot of light coming to me, right? And it's not to my liking the way I would have done it. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to move the camera. And I'm going to try to get you to stand and bring your chair closer to my sister here. Sorry, guys. Okay. Like now, I see less of the windows. I see more of the pews, but it creates a better depth. Remember earlier I was talking about depth, you know, how far you can see behind the individual. Unfortunately, the pictures on the screen, on the projectors are not. That's why I wanted to use the TV screen instead of this, but anyway, nevertheless, we can do it. Okay, heads up, heads up. Okay. The other thing I can do while I'm here, I can show you how I would do the. No, sit up, please. And look at the lens. Don't worry about because you are the target for us now. Like here, I can show you how I would do a front focus, for instance. On this camera, it's done differently, but nevertheless, it's the same. You see, I am touching the screen, and I'm bringing a frame, a rectangle, or a square around his face. And automatically, the camera is going to adjust to focus on his face. Okay. One thing I wanted to show you also is how I can change the background to make it blurry, but I can do that with the other lens. Okay. ISO. Okay. Okay, now, let's try to simulate that you are talking to her. Your head would be oriented to her. And with my camera, what I can do, for instance, in terms of framing, you see, I see a profile of him. I can still see both of his eyes. Can you see that on the screen up there? And then sit up again. Yeah, thank you. And in terms of headroom, I leave enough space on top of his head not to reach completely the top of his hair, but enough. Yeah. Okay, sorry. Yeah, on this screen you don't see because there are too many items on this written on the screen, on the display. But at least you can see his head. There is just above, let's say 2 or 3 inches above his head, because I feel his face and his torso, the top of his head, not head, enough in the frame so that I don't. The opposite would have been, for instance, sometimes you see too much in the screen, in the frame, like so many details, whereas if you were to do a setting here, something like that would be like either off center, not exactly in the center, but off center. And also all those indications that you have on the screen, those are things that you have on the camera that you can use in order to help you determine where is the center. Are you, for instance, you see the yellow line going across the screen? That is telling me the camera is not straight. When it's straight, it's green. Do you see what I mean? So different cameras has it different ways, but those are things that you need to be aware of when you are setting up a shoot. Yes?
What are these buttons for?
Okay, for instance, to adjust, that's a good question. To adjust the white balance, I press here. That's one button. And you can see it on the screen at the bottom. It gives you the different ways that you can adjust the white balance here, okay? To adjust the ISO, I press the ISO button, and it gives me different options where I can adjust the ISO, okay? And whatever it selects, you see it here, ISO 200, for instance, and that's the 200 here, okay? The shutter speed, I do it based on, you see the 2000 at the bottom here? It's changing, and I use that button in the back here to change the ISO in order to adjust it. And as I say, if I were using the monitor, you would have seen a better picture because, as I say, the monitor take whatever signal I'm sending to them, it changes it according to seeing that it's a projector. It wants to create what people can see. Okay. Now, I'm going to turn off this light. You see how dark it is? However, I'm going to change subject.
Oh, there's another light.
You see that? I am in an environment where I can control the light. I was using that light that is bright and well spread out around him, but now I'm using a smaller light that focuses mainly on her face. And when you have a scene like this, you are looking at it, this is the effect they create in a movie, for instance. They give you enough light around to see what is in the environment. However, they focus more of the light on the subject. This is how what we call, you are working in a controlled environment where you can control the amount of light going in and out. For instance, although the light is small going on her, you don't see too much of her sweater and so on and so forth. Look at the screen now. If I were to open it, you can start seeing more light on her sweater. Okay? Now, in terms of head space, I think I need to adjust that too. Don't you think so? Okay, seeing that your body is moving it, can you adjust the height? Can you tilt? How would you tilt? Tilt down now. Tilt down, that's pan.
Going down?
No, same thing. Use this, you tilt down. That's what we call a tilt down. You see the effect? Okay, tilt past her head. Yeah, cut her head, cut her head. No, still down again, tilt down again, tilt down. Okay, sometimes they create effect like this in movie to show, depending on the drama they want to create, but usually you need to create enough space on top of her head. Yes, they are pretty, they are nice. You are on TV now. Anyway. Okay, can you pan? Whoever is close to the camera, can you pan? Pan.
What's pan?
What is pan?
Side to side.
Camera movement that we call pan, yes. You are panning now, you are moving from. Okay, let's go to him now. He's not too lit, but we can still use him. For instance, if I want to bring light to him, I can even reorient the light to reach him. So that with one light I can lit both of them. Okay. Let me see. Okay, go to her now. Pan to her. Pan. Okay. Okay. Somebody else want to try? Okay, with that in mind, let's talk about camera movement. And for seeing that I don't have a dolly here, those are the only two movements that we can do, the pan and the tilt. Okay? If I were to set up a camera, I wonder for an interview, for instance, can you look at him as if you were talking to him? I would be looking too much of a profile. I would have to move the camera closer, almost closer to here to get a better angle of her. Can you move, please? Move up. Let's see if we can bring this closer here. Thank you, but I need your face more.
But it's okay.
Okay, if I were to frame an interview, I would take, what's his name?
Puck.
I would put another camera on that angle to directly take him from this angle. What time is it, by the way?
4:35.
Okay, let's do a simulation of that.
Where did you get that?
I'm doing this.
Oh, you have a watch.
I don't have a watch though. No. Taking what?
Well, I'm just not.
So let each person, one from the person setting up, let each person practice doing,
Panning and the tilting.
yes. Each of you who are up there, practice doing that. While you're setting up another camera.
What pan? What pan?
I'm switching it between the two speakers.
Like what pan?
So who's doing that now?
Maya.
Okay, Isaac.
What?
So Isaac, you did it, somebody else does it.
That's not Maya. Somebody
Let
else.
somebody else do it. Good. Switch between the speakers. Yeah. And maybe show more of their body, or just the facial shot. Centered. Yeah. Who is on it now? One. Yeah. But you did it already. So let somebody else who didn't do it yet. You did it, Kweku? Yeah, let somebody else. Yes. Go ahead, Maya. Switch between these persons. So each of you, go to the speaker. The focus needs to be on the speaker. Center the speaker. Who is there now? Maya? Where, you're not left-handed, Maya.
What?
Huh? You're right. Why are you using your left hand?
Yes.
Why? You're ambidextrous?
No.
Apparently. Okay. Switch between the speakers. Center the speaker. So each of you get the feel of it. Jenny made it accustomed to doing this already. So we'll get your turn as well while Brother Kirby's sitting up there, and Andrew as well. Get your feel of move switching. Are we going to have to do this, guys? Each of you. Soon. You're bored? Is that what you said? You're tired? You were Pathfinders earlier?
Not even.
Because you're having a long day. So focus on the speaker. Center it on the speaker. Who is on it now? Ariel? That you? Yeah? Yes. Center it on the female speaker. Center it on Equa. So put F was facing the frame.
See that little white, this way.
Ariel, aren't you seeing it on the screen there?
Yeah, the frame.
No?
The
Or
white.
you're also seeing it in front of you. Look,
That might help you.
it's in front of you.
Like the white stuff. You see the white lights?
Center it, you see the little center guide,
The little square?
Yes.
The white stuff. Yep.
So can we make that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bro, what is you doing?
So did you all get a feel of the camera now?
Of course.
Everybody? Did you center it, Chloe? You did? What about you? Chelsea? No? So you need to go next. So you all know what it feels like with the movement of it. Yes. And move it between the speakers. Center their faces. I'm not sure we're going to even have the time to record that story. So see, Chelsea is not see the foreleg in the corners. You need her facial frame within the center of the, yes, some more. There we go. A little bit better, but center it. So that we are seeing her full face within the corners of the frame.
Like in the white lines. Yeah.
And remember what Brother Kirby said about the
Let me do an adjustment here. Oh, there is something you could have done also, is the zoom effect.
Yeah. I was thinking about that.
It's that because there are two rings on the zoom, on the lens, sorry. Yes, you can zoom in and out from here. This one is what we call a fixed lens, a prime lens. You cannot zoom in and out on this one.
I know.
Okay, I'm going to set up the cameras the way I would have to shoot, to do a good shoot. And from there, I'm going to shoot something, and even if it is 1 minute interview between the two of you, and then from there, I'll transfer those files onto editing software and show you the process of that quickly. Because that's another step that takes a long time to learn, okay?
Can I go drink some water?
Sure. Okay, I was at 55. Let me see if I can change it. Oh,
Okay, so we have.
You can also change it.
You and Ariel do the practice for the story. So maybe these two can just improvise a conversation. Yeah, you can improvise a conversation. It can be a story, it can be an interview. Think about it. So take the lead, F or PO, whichever one of you.
okay, so
Think
who's
about
doing
what
it?
you talk about.
Who's doing it? These two or you and somebody else?
Anybody else want to do it?
I'll do
Chloe, you
it.
want to do it?
I'll do it.
No, you don't really like to be in front of the camera?
Wants to go there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, F1, you could think of Daniel in the Lions Den. Okay, sit to where sitting. Okay, so okay. Think of what you want to talk about. It can be Daniel, it can be Goliath. You both know Goliath, David and Goliath story. Or Daniel in the Lions Den. So when they say camera action, you speak.
Hi guys.
And that's what is going to be edited. Just relax. This is not going on YouTube. Okay? You don't want to write the story. I so know you go on. You want to be editor.
We're gonna talk about something on camera. Okay.
But now I want you to be able to
Watch your eyes.
to manipulate. To be able to
Hi,
manipulate.
how is that?
No, this one is not on the screen. You will have to look from here. Actually, there's one thing I can do. Okay, are you guys ready to start shooting?
Yes.
Okay, first of all,
How do you shoot?
Just relax, guys. No sweat.
can you frame her now? Huh? Yes, frame, no, here, here. Right. You can look here also to see. Okay, are you happy with that shot?
Eyes, you have to be good.
Unfortunately, I cannot show you both of them at the same time on the screen, but are you happy with that? Okay, what do you think, guys? Is this shot framed properly?
Okay, can start, yeah.
What do you think?
You need to answer, guys.
I would say
wrong with the frame?
it's a bit too close to her. Can you zoom out?
No. Can you zoom in?
Okay, in that case, move back the camera.
So why don't you operate one camera and another time operate the other one? With brother Kirby.
Okay, don't move back anymore.
There's too much movement. That's why you're pulling out the things, guys.
Pass it on the other side.
So maybe, okay, Kweku can be here and Ariel, you are here. Why don't you are here and Kweku is there? With brother Kirby direction. Yes, you're on this one and Kweku is there. Yes. And the others can be observing.
I still don't have the. You want to be on first.
I'm gonna ask first.
And the first part and the next section is you boys are going to deal with the operating.
Okay, Clifton, can I have this camera on the screen now? This one, the HDMI.
Hello. Hi guys.
Waiting for
Testing, 1, 2,
connection.
3.
This camera here. No, it's frozen on a previous frame.
No.
Hello, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Twelly. What's yours?
Maya.
What's your favorite Bible story?
Noah's Ark.
Same. What?
When you are here, you need to get to the opposite side to get the individual on that side. This one is speaking.
Okay, so you don't have to ask what her name is?
Yes.
I don't have to ask what her name is?
That's number one. No, that's the focus. Okay. Zoom. Try to zoom first. Okay, zoom out. Zoom out. zoom out, more. Now tilt down.
Today I have Chloe.
And
today-
usually when you are doing an
and we're gonna be
interview,
talking
you
about
want to
Noah's
put
Ark.
one individual off center. It's like the center would be here. You put that individual off center. Now, look at her. She's not focused. You need to get to the outside lens, green, to focus her. And on this camera, the other way you can do it, you see that square? You can just move the square on her face, and it will focus automatically.
Hold on, who is on this camera over here? Yeah, but
It's because it's on battery.
I don't want so many of you touching little stuff at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah, it's supposed to be quick with here now. And then it's going an area that is
In that case, you want. Let me move this for you.
you can observe what Kweku is doing,
Okay.
but I don't want all of you there touching at the same time.
But her, she's going to.
Especially the younger ones. So it's Kweku. Kweku, you're the one who's going to be operating there.
Yes,
Okay.
Okay. So step to the other side now. Nathan, let Kweku operate and you observe him.
No,
Yeah.
when you are doing an interview, one camera on one, the other camera on the other. And we try as much as possible to be in the opposite direction of this person you are looking at. You know what I said? For instance, look on the screen. That camera is focusing on her. This camera is focusing on her.
That's right. So step back, Nathan, let Kweku operate. Yes.
And also, as I said earlier, I try as much as possible when I'm doing an interview, see where she is in the frame. Instead of putting her right in center, I put feel that she will be speaking like this. What I create enough space in front of her so that you feel like there is room for somebody else that she is talking to. Unfortunately, I cannot switch between the two cameras, but on the other camera, I do the opposite. I put her on the left side. Where is my left here? On the left side here, somewhere here, so that you can feel like there are 20 people sitting in front of each other. Okay? Let me do a quick simulation of what, sorry, step back. Let me do a quick simulation, like if I had both of them in the frame, sorry. Okay, you can see it on the screen. Like, that's what I want to recreate in my final product. Guys, are you listening?
Yes.
That's what I want to create in my final product. I want to create the effect that I have two individuals sitting and looking at each other. So therefore, on this camera, seeing that I'm using two, if I were using only one camera, I would have them sitting closer to each other. Actually, let's do that. Can you stand and bring your chair closer? Watch the hole though. Slightly. Okay. Now look on the screen. I have both of them in my frame. Okay. You also. What's your name?
You can't cover it. It's stinging.
Maya, can you move your chair closer, please? A little more. You can go.
Why are you standing?
Okay. You can sit now. You see, I have now. I could even pull back. And I have both of them in my screen. And usually when you are doing an interview, you have three cameras. One would capture both of them at the same time. One would capture in opposite direction each of the other two, okay? But I have a third camera, but it will take time to set up and so on and so forth. So we are using only two for today. So see what I do? I put her off center, like dead center would have been here, but I put her off center because, talk to your interviewee now. You see, she's looking at the other individual. I create enough space in front of her, like here, in order for the viewer to have the feeling that there is somebody else in the frame that they later on. And
Okay,
here-
don't touch that. She's the operator. And with Jai. And you listen for your instructions to move.
Now, you need to sit in a way that you are communicating with the other one. Yes, this way.
I need you younger boys to let the bigger ones do the operation, and the bigger ones will let you get it once. They'll be able to help you to get it later. You got it? I want the older ones to get it first.
So that's the framing I will do in that case. You don't see
And
that
they'll be able to
other
help you
one,
because we're running out of time.
but- Okay. So 1.7, 180.
So Jaime, I need you
1.7,
with these two
2.8.
girls here. So let's see what you do. You're the older one.
Okay, are you ready to start your conversation? I'm going to start recording now. Ready, set, go.
Hi, today I'm here with Maya. Hello. And today we're talking about Noah's Ark.
Okay, let me give you another clue. When you are in an interview, forget about the camera, forget about me, don't look at us. Just keep the conversation going between the two of you. Okay? Go ahead. Again.
Hi, today I'm here with Maya. Hello. And today we're talking about Noah's Ark.
With you said with you said Tilda.
The world was full of wicked
Slightly.
people.
She's dead center now.
Except for Noah's
And slightly to create
So
more
God
space. Stay
told
here.
him
Stay
to
here.
build an ark. He had 3 sons, and his sons had wives. So Noah, his wives, his sons, and their wives ate the boat. So they had to build a huge boat, with a huge boat called an ark. And they had to put every single animal up to female and male into the ark. It was raining for like 40 days or 40 nights. And then after that, it rested on a mountain. When Noah sent out a bird to see if there was land, but the bird just flew around in circles. So he tried again, and this time the bird came back with all the leaf. The third time, Noah.
Okay, you can stop here now. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to check in here.
Maybe
Quickly.
your finger turn it up.
The-
Right back. Yeah, the sound goes up. What's going on? We're not supposed to, guys. Yeah, you fix it, please. Okay, so you younger ones, I need you to come and watch it on the monitor for now. Maybe up there's a little bit crowded. So you get your turn. So the ones who are operating, just sit in the front row. Watch it from the screen. Keep your eyes on the screen. I don't want anything calling, nor do I want anything tripping out. So did we record using both cameras?
One didn't record. I'm checking why not. Uh, 8-bit FGST, okay, change this now. Natural 8-bit, okay. This one is recording.
Recording.
Yeah. Video button is set to off in custom menu. Custom menu. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
So when you record, do you record the audio internally, or do you normally have the audio recorded separately and then do you put them together?
I will the second option. I record separately and then I put them together.
Okay.
But today I'm running out of time. I have microphone for each one of them, and I have the H6 recorder that I could have hooked onto each of the microphone and record on different channels.
Okay,
and then I will take each channel and match with the respective video, send them,
watch on the screen.
and then from there I get the reload to that.
Where's Jaden?
Yeah.
Oh, you're there, yeah. Sit and watch on the screen until we bring you back up on this on your own. Okay, so because we want a good audience, it's being recorded. You're gonna see yourself in the picture when it's been edited. Okay? So don't bother, just leave the gimmicks for later.
What are gimmicks?
Leave the faces, you know, when you make all of those twirlies and all of those things. Just relax and pretend as if the camera is not in operation. So when I gimmicks mean you're doing all, you see sometimes you're rolling their eyes and making faces. Those are what I call gimmicks. Never heard the word? It's almost time. Let me go check my screen. So we need to get this recorded.
Yes.
What does it mean when it says, when it has like a 2 and a 4 underneath?
Sorry?
What does it mean when it says like 2 4?
What does it mean?
Always, forget, you're generous. I know. Yeah, I know. No doubt that.
Yeah, I'm still trying to find why it's not recording. Okay, hold on.
Okay, it's gone.
Custom, video guideline. Sorry. Setting, format, stabilizer, histogram, focus transition. System set mirroring, exposure. Video button is set to open. Custom menu. Custom menu. Video guideline. Instagram, format, stabilizer, condition.
So what's happening? You checking for the recording?
Yes.
Still not there?
Monitor display, monitor luminance, size sensor. TV edition, folder.
So we're only sure that one speaker was recorded.
Yes, I had one recorded.
Okay. So while you're doing that, Brother Kirby, like how the microphone was not plugged into the camera. So is the audio coming from?
The camera itself record the audio also,
Okay.
but it's not the ideal audio.
Yes, I heard you say that earlier.
Yeah.
So sometimes what you don't do is match the microphone audio with the video.
Yes.
Because sometimes I see, and it happened to us in past recording, that what is
Yes, that happened. But Clifton, can you turn on the light inside the sanctuary now? Because the next step I'm going to show you at least one angle of the recording. Okay, thank you. Now guys, you can sit down here now. You can leave the camera. Let's go and sit here and I will show you some other stuff. What I usually do this device here, ladies, can you see this device here, guys? This is the audio recorder that I use for something like that today. And usually I use this lamp the same way that you see this one here. I use this one on the individual speaking, put it wherever I need. And then I have a connector that I can put here on this device, and I can record at least 6 different channels on this device that you see here. It's that audio recorder. It has a memory card inside of the SD card. That's what I will record the audio from. Okay? And when I finish with the audio, I just take it out, put it in the computer, and import the audio file into the software. And those mic, like it's like one like this, but this one is wired completely, and I attach it to this device by itself to capture the audio that I need. Now, computer.
So how do you get what the camera recorded from that camera to your laptop? You remove, what do you call that?
That's the memory card. I record on memory card.
Memory card.
Yeah. It takes the. Okay. This is the software I'm going to use to show you how I would edit or what the steps I would have taken from here. Unfortunately,
where you can see. Come to the end up. You have the control? Yeah. Guys, no talking. Please, thank you very much. You're going to teach me this thing and teach other people. I need you to. So notice, students, what happened is that the camera was not connected to the screen. However, you move the memory card from the camera and put it where?
In the computer.
In the? How do you get it there? Does the computer have a slot for it?
No, you connect it to the computer.
I connect, meaning there's a connector on the computer that accommodated that memory card, right?
Yeah, but not on computer sounds.
Exactly. No. What is my computer? Because my computer does not. What would I need?
Right, adapter.
An adapter. And that adapter can be purchased, then you put it in the adapter and you get the information that was on the camera into the computer. Now, can we edit directly in a camera? Because I need software, right? So where's the software that is going to be used for the editing? Which device? On the computer. It's going to be on the computer, and that's exactly. Now, see yourself on the screen what was just recorded. See you there, Chloe.
Okay, I'm using Final Cut Pro. I could have used DaVinci Resolve also, or Premiere Pro. But for now, Final Cut Pro is easy enough for what we need to do. I'll do that now. Okay, I have, what I do, I create a folder on the software and I call it Ottawa SDA Church. Now I'm going to import the video from the memory card onto that folder. And it's already there. And I can see it. Now, on that screen I have several things. On the left side here, this is what we call the content manager. I can see all the video that I import on the list here. This for me, when I'm doing the editing, those are the reference graphs that help me adjust what I have here. And here I am seeing everything that I am doing in terms of, it's called the viewer panel, where I can adjust whatever I need to adjust. I can split that screen, I can send them to another bigger screen, but I only have one monitor attached, so I'm using just this one. What I can also do to create space, I can, sorry, what did I do? Yeah, okay. You see on the, okay, this is the viewer of what I'm going to be importing. This is what we call a timeline. In order to bring that video on the timeline, I had to create a new project. I'm going to call the new project the same, however. SDA Church. Okay. Now, the project gives me a timeline. That's where I'm going to drop a video clip that I'm using. For instance, if I have 2 or 3 different video clips, what I would have done, I can just link them. Oh, sorry. Andrew.
Yeah. Sit over here. No, sit right here. Because Johnny needs to focus on editing. Because he'll be able to teach you guys to do it. Because he already has this part of the skill. So I need your concentration. You pull right now. Okay. So you can go there or go beside Brother Freddy. Not don't even sit here, so go there. So. No, but you can go there and even help him move his skill. Go. Sit down right beside. You are this team leader. I'm going to be depending on you. Go a little closer. Go a little closer. He already has some editing skills, Brother Kirby. That's why I'm putting him right here. Yeah, go a little closer.
From that point of view,
Yeah.
if you adjust to it,
So you
the
get all the results.
Okay, there are several things we can do. In any of those softwares, you can find what you call an automatic adjustment for the white balance. For instance, here, I can go in this feature balance code. There's an adjustment to the balance, to the color, but I can also do it step by step or manually. Like here it's being done automatically, but I can select. For instance, that button you see here, I can put on any field on the picture that should have been white, and I click, and then it adjusts the color. Now, as you can see, the picture is quite dark, right? So, in order to increase the luminosity or the brightness of the picture, what I can go here in those features where I can control the color and the luma of that video I'm editing. For instance, one thing I can do overall, I can increase the brightness of the picture like this. You see more definition, you see more of what we shot on that picture. That does it overall for the picture. Or I can decide, let me remove that, I can decide to increase the dark portion of it, make it clearer. And you see, surface is not changing too much when I do that. There are several features in the software, in all the software that you are using in order to adjust the video that you have just shot. For instance, one of the places I would start from here. Also, I'm looking at those graphs here. Those are the indication to me to tell me what are the ranges of what I'm doing. Each one of them has a different name. This is the, I am adjusting the luma here. Like here I am at 70, most likely I'm at 107 here. So the black portion of the picture is above 100 or just 100. There is several ways I can adjust that. Or the darkest portion of the picture is around 0. So that's kind of where it should be. However, in the mid-tone, that's where I can increase the clarity in order to get exactly what I need. Okay? I can use that a bit more, but not too much. Okay? And if I want, for instance, I can go back here and blue the picture on the screen, and you see more definition of what I'm working with. Okay? Here you don't hear audio because the audio was on the camera, but let me see. I am hearing the audio right here on the laptop. Okay. For instance, in the editing page, usually you don't see too much definition on the face, but you can increase that also. And for instance, we are doing all that application, and usually what we call the forward focus, I would have been more keen on doing the forward focus. Okay, the other thing that we need to pay attention to, look at the background, for instance. Yes, I can see there is benches here, but not too much information to catch my attention. Even Sister Mary was sitting here. You see how blurry she can be in the frame. It's because on the camera, I set up the aperture at the level that I'm asking the aperture of the camera to focus more on her than the background. So that's one way we reduce the distraction in the frame. Alternatively, what I could do, I could have asked somebody to move, and then all what you would have seen in the background is windows that are blurred, and also benches that are blurred, but the main subject is being unfocused. Okay? Now, This feature here, let me try to blow it up a bit to show you something that.
No.
Okay, this feature here, it tells me the level of color that I have on the video clip that I'm editing. For instance, one of the things I usually do when I'm shooting or when I'm editing the subject, first of all, is to determine the level of, in that case I will go here. I'm going to isolate her face, especially her skin. The reason why I'm doing that, because on that graph, it's telling me whether or not the skin is the right color. Let's see properly here. Yes. Okay. There is one line coming on this axis here. You don't see it too much, but I see it here. Whenever I isolate the skin of the individual and it falls on that line, that means my color balance is well done. My color balance is well done. Whenever I isolate that skin and it shows that it's there, it's showing me that the color balance is well done. For instance, that's what I call the color wheel earlier when I told you that in terms of background, it's always better to have a color that is in the opposite side of the skin tone. For instance, you see now I'm on the blue jacket, the blue jacket. You see this line now is pointing toward blue. I think she had a red mic in her hand. Where is her hand? The red tape on the mic. You see now it's getting toward the red portion of the color. Okay? So whenever I'm happy with that, I just close this, reset, and done. Okay, like if the light condition that we had, and looking at her face in the mirror, it will be colorful because this graph is showing me how much color do I have in the frame that I'm dealing with. Okay? Usually I try to stay within 100% here. And also, like you see here, it's peaking quite a bit towards the circle around here. There are some points here on this graph that tell me exactly the different colors. For instance, red, magenta, blue, cyan, green, and yellow. So, like here, I have a lot of red. Yes, the carpet is red, and the benches are more toward red. But I can still adjust all of these using this graph, for instance, to reduce the redness a bit. Okay, in the dark area, I can try to put it in the mid-tone also. But at the same time, I'm reducing the saturation of the colors in the frame. Okay, that's what we call color correction. Okay, after I've done that and I'm happy with it, and you can even see the color was peeking a little further out, but now it's receded. It's not the center again. And here we have what we call the three primary colors, red, green, and blue. And whenever you are doing that also, when you do the white balance, that is telling you, for instance, in the high end of the picture, like the highlight of the picture, I have a lot of red. I can remove the red also, and you can see the red coming down, the red that were picture where they are coming down. Although it's taking me toward the green portion of the picture, but I can still adjust that and reduce the green. Anyway, this is another science in itself, but just to show you all the steps that we have taken to get to a color that is well balanced at the level of how it comes out of the camera. Okay. Audio-wise, we didn't accomplish recording the audio and then during the audio with the video, but I can show you quickly several that taken to do that.
The same
The
way
same way
that
that I
I
recorded the
recorded
video
the
file,
file,
I could have recorded the audio file also.
and
And
let me
let
just
me
for
just, for the
this
sake of it, import an audio file that I may have on the computer here. Somewhere here, music.
Okay, Brother Kirby, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but
That is
That is up.
yes,
Okay.
it's almost
But
5:30.
what
But
I
what I
will
will do, just show you now
the when I
when I
import
import the audio file,
you would have
you will have
seen
seen it.
and the
And
feature I
the
would
feature I would
have
have
used
used
for
for
that
that in sync,
I would
I
have
would
just
have just
clicked on
clicked on,
click on the
click on
two
the two
files,
files,
the
the
video
video
file
file and the audio file,
and right
and
click
right
and
click
tell
and
it
tell it
to
to
synchronize.
synchronize speeds.
Okay, synchronizing meaning put them together.
Combine the audio file
with the
with the video file based on the audio that is on the video file.
The
The
software
software
analyzes
analyzes the peak and the values of the audio waveforms, and it combines them together, and then the audio that was recorded separately will sync with the audio that was recorded within the camera with the video.
So that's
So that's
how
how easy it is to do it in the software.
Okay, I think maybe you have a very good software there. Because I have seen videos where there's a delay. And the delay meaning the speaker's mouth is different from what the audio is saying. And most times the audio is at the end of the video.
Sometimes people don't do it manually. And
the
through the process of when the video is being processed,
that's when
the synchronization might be on.
Okay, students, don't leave. Just come for a prayer. Finally, I know it's late. I know your parents are here. My apologies because we started a little bit late. So, Brother Kirby,
Here's what I promised to do for you. When you are doing the WWJ program, on the first recording I will be here, you will just... I think we are going to be using those cameras here, right?
yeah, very nice.
Just to show you what I do, how I do it, and also the portion of it, so that they will actually see that practical.
Wonderful.
Because today was a bit easy.
Yeah, it was a little bit difficult. However, there's something else I would love for you to do, as we want to keep this recording for future training. So what you could do for us is audio the steps matching with whatever was recorded today for a picture. As you audio that and clean it up in terms of any missing thing, even this part, so that whatever they would have missed, especially in the wrapping up of this today as well, you'll be able to, we'll hear you and walking us through the steps so that they'll be able to go over it. Because this is a lot of information, a lot of information, and especially because they take as much time on the camera. Yes.
Okay, so keep on reading the audio file. And then the video file. Okay.
So you'll have everything, then you can clean it up and audio what's missing and audio the steps so that even the youngest child. Who's the youngest child here? 9? Somebody's here who is 9? Yes. Isaac is 9. But I know Jaheem already knows most of this, so you'll be able to teach Isaac and teach the rest of the team. He's the team leader, so he may be getting in touch with you if he needs additional information. And I've been in the sessions too, because we want to start recording with our children's church at the end of May, so that they get the practice. But that is going to be downstairs though. So we may not have the kind of lighting unless maybe we rent for a place, and if we rent some of these kind of lights to put down there.
cameras.
Camera, yes. We may need to rent a
So
camera.
why not leave there? Why not leave upstairs?
What is
You
going
don't have
to
to rent.
what is happening during church time? When, just like yesterday when we had church,
Yeah,
right?
you might have to change it up a bit. It's up to you.
The time?
Yeah. The budget. It's up to you.
Yeah.
Because we have the equipment here.
We have the equipment already, so you
Instead of a rent,
go rent, because the rental is expensive.
you can,
Okay. Can be expensive.
yeah.
So you suggest that we would use up here rather than, because what I want them to do is, I need them to practice what they have learned. And I think a lot for them to absorb in the 2 sessions. So unless they start to practice it, they're going to lose it. And I really don't want them to lose it. Yes, so again, kids, I really appreciate your sacrifice. This is the beginning, it's not the end. We are going to be putting this in practice. Even if we have to use our phones and start the recording process and put things together with it, what we are going to get it done by God's grace. So let's stand for prayer. I know your parents are waiting. I know you're tired too. I know you're tired, especially those of you who have been here from morning from Pathfinders. So let us pray, and thanks again for being here. God will take you to amazing places as we do this together. Precious God, we want to give you thanks for your love, your grace, and your mercy. We thank you, Lord, for the sacrifice that the parents and this amazing case have made. Lord, we want to prepare them to do your work. They have the ability, and we ask for your amazing blessings on their lives. We claim your promises, Lord, and we know that your plans for every child here and those who are not here is amazing greatness. Forgive us of our sins and bless us all, we ask in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay, I know quite a few parents are here. Thank you, parents. Really appreciate it. Without you, this would not have been possible. Okay, she's not here yet? She was here. But she left from me. Exactly. I can imagine because we are a little bit late. Not a little bit late, it's because we started late. My apologies. But we are only going to real practice. We go on to know it.
I'll send
A lot of information.
Sweetheart, I want to get the piano. How can do that, please?
Okay, so you'll be getting each, as soon as I get from Kirby, I'm going to be sending the video so you can go over it, over the steps, we can put these things into practice.
Because that's the proper thing. Yes, I want.
Okay, so Brother Keith, I can imagine you're ready to leave. Yeah. Brother Kirby, see if you can back up quickly because you know something? I'm guessing right.
It's a lot of small. Yes, I know where they are.
Your mom is outside? With you? Okay. Ella Marie, are you leaving right now?
Yes. You need something?
No, I'm getting a ride with parents to go outside. So I was hoping you could stay with these girls until they're you'll be here. Okay, thank you. So Ella Marie needs to be here until your mom comes, okay? Because I'm gonna run, because I gotta run. So we'll talk, Brother Kirby. We'll talk, so you get the thing and you audit it, so edit it, so we can keep having for future training. And we